In the latest episode of Emmerdale, Dawn Fletcher finally began putting her scheme against Joe Tate into motion, taking the first steps toward manipulating him for her own benefit. Earlier in the week, she struck an agreement with Moira and Cain Dingle to strip Joe of his wealth and divide it between them as payback for his actions, which led to Moira's imprisonment and cost them their farm. However, they all understood that the plan would require subtlety, something difficult to achieve given how cunning both Joe and his mentor, Graham Foster, can be. The episode opened with Kim offering her congratulations to Dawn on the new Tate heir, prompting Dawn to confront Joe for sharing their pregnancy news before she had even attended her scan. As events unfolded, Dawn struggled to hide her irritation when Joe decided to increase Robert Sugden's rent, justifying it with talk of market forces and principle, essentially because he had the power to do so. Even Kim found herself siding with Dawn on the issue. The atmosphere softened slightly when Dawn showed the baby scan image to her son Lucas, speaking about how he, along with Evan and Clemmy, would soon be part of a happy, united family once the baby was born, noticeably leaving Joe out of that vision. Joe soon arrived, and after Lucas exited, Dawn approached him with a suggestion. She proposed moving their wedding date forward, explaining that she wanted to still fit into a dress, look her best in photos, and establish a proper family before the baby's arrival. Joe was quick to agree, expressing his enthusiasm before leaning in to kiss her hands. Dawn pulled back, claiming she felt unwell due to the pregnancy, and asked for some space. The moment he left, her cheerful expression quickly faded. The question now remains whether she can successfully carry out her plan, or if her clear resentment toward Joe will ultimately expose her intentions. Emmerdale has hinted at a heartbreaking outcome for Bear ahead of a dramatic trial twist. A major development unfolded in Friday's episode, 1st of May, as Marlon Dingle and Graham Foster finally managed to line up a potentially vital witness for Bear's upcoming murder case. Although this progress could improve his chances of avoiding a disastrous future, the episode also suggested that the character may already be struggling with a serious emotional toll while behind bars. Bear is set to appear in court next week over the killing of Ray Walters, with his son Paddy Dingle and Dylan Penders supporting him as the case reaches a crucial point. As the hearing approaches, Paddy has grown increasingly desperate to persuade Simo to give evidence in Bear's favour. Simo, like Bear, was caught up in the same horrifying modern slavery ring run by Ray and Celia, having been manipulated and exploited during that time. At first, he was unwilling to get involved, but after being pushed, he eventually seemed to reconsider and hinted that he might speak out. This should have been a turning point for Bear's defence. However, scenes set in the Yorkshire Dales suggested the situation may not be so straightforward. When Paddy shared the update with his father during a prison phone call, the response was far from optimistic. Instead of relief, Bear appeared drained and doubtful about what lies ahead, admitting he didn't want to get his hopes up, but desperately wanted to leave prison. The moment highlighted that, despite possible support, his mental state is fragile as he faces the possibility of a life sentence. Given Ray's dangerous past and connections, prison could also put him at further risk, as former associates might see him as a target. The actor has also indicated that the character himself has little belief in walking free and is preparing for the worst. He suggested that Bear feels a deep sense of guilt and believes he deserves punishment because he took a life, leaving him without any real hope going into the trial. While Simo may appear to be his strongest supporter, his testimony could actually create more problems. Their shared past is more complicated than it seems. During their time under Ray and Celia's control, Simo and another worker once tried to escape and asked Bear for help. However, due to his own trauma and confusion, Bear stopped them and alerted Ray instead. The consequences were severe, with Simo reportedly being moved elsewhere, while Bear believed he had died. Now it's possible that Simo could use the trial as an opportunity for revenge. According to the actor, Simo may feel resentment believing Bear received better treatment, even though that wasn't the case. If he gives evidence, it could backfire badly, leaving Bear with no option but to testify himself. With his hope fading, his mental health deteriorating, and prison becoming an increasingly dangerous place, the storyline is building toward a trial that could threaten far more than just his freedom. The question remains whether Simo's testimony will ultimately seal his fate. Emmerdale has hinted at a troubling new twist as Dr. Todd's latest romance begins to take shape. Although the full details have yet to come to light, the surgeon has spent recent months quietly undermining Jacob's confidence. The situation first started at the local hospital, where she subtly manipulated events involving the eager young medic. As a result, Jacob has been left deeply unsettled. At times he doubts whether he's capable of handling the pressures of working in a busy NHS environment, while at other moments he feels reassured, largely because of how unpredictable her behaviour is toward him. On some days, her remarks leave him feeling low and uncertain, while on others she praises his work and gives him opportunities to progress, making it difficult for him to understand her true intentions. If everything had remained within the hospital, the situation might have been resolved sooner. However, matters have become far more complicated since she moved into the village. Now living with Vanessa, the boundaries between her and Jacob have become increasingly blurred, something she appears to be exploiting. She has even begun telling others that Jacob is the one who is overly fixated on her. When situations arise between them, she quickly reshapes the narrative, making it seem as though his behaviour is inappropriate. Not long after arriving in the village, a bottle of wine was left on her doorstep, with the sender falsely claimed to be Jacob. She used the gesture as further proof to reinforce her claims that he was crossing professional lines. In tonight's episode, she spent time at the pub with Vanessa and others, enjoying a game of darts. As the drinks kept flowing, it was pointed out that there appeared to be clear chemistry between the two women. Later, once they returned home, Vanessa, feeling unwell from the alcohol, paid little attention as the conversation once again turned to Jacob, with fresh claims that his earlier behaviour supported the idea that he was obsessed. She then encouraged Vanessa to go to bed, promising to help her avoid a hangover the next day. Vanessa was clearly touched by the kindness shown toward her, but questions remain over whether the connection is genuine. It remains to be seen whether this apparent romance is real, or simply part of a larger plan to deceive those around her and keep the truth about Jacob hidden. Emmerdale is broadcast on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1, and episodes are also available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.